Welcome to a special DRT, debt refusion theory. My DRT has to be incorporated and implemented across the North American Collectif, Canada, United States, ASAP, as a mass public-private partnership matter. PPP, that's what we have to do. And so we have, of course, to be in the relationships of what we have now and the facultative aspects, always for the 10, the 50, and the 3, 4 to 63, let our empire rise and be, and that's all we got, and that's how we get it on the left and on the right and in the middle, and is the DRT, which we have to implement, the debt refusion theory, as we have, of course, to So the debt refusion theory stands for D, debt, R, refusion theory. The debt refusion theory, The debt refusion theory is, of course, something which we have to incorporate, and that incorporation is something which we have to correlate where we are now, of course, in the industriousness of the facultative aspects of where we correlate with each other, and that's what we got now in the crises, which we are probably collapsed, but is it collapsing? It seems like there's indications in the financial markets, and of course Canada having 37,000 citizens which declared insolvency and bankruptcy, the past. So it is with that, and that's what we got, of course, in the left and in the right and in the middle, so that's how we correlate, And that's where we are now in the relationships of where we are with our facultative aspects and all the pluralities and all the representational aspects that we have an emergency, and it will require a mass public-private partnership to implement in the categories where we are now, so all that is something which we have, of course, to be in the correlational aspects where we got. So all that is something where we gotta be left and right and in the middle. And of course, that's the debt refusion theory, which we have to incorporate, or rather implement as a mass public-private partnership, as a mass public-private partnership, and that massive PPP, public-private partnership, what we got now, of course, is crisis mode, myself including financially stressed, but paradoxically, hope. But it's not just a hope, it's a practical geopolitical strategy which our common manifest destiny requires. Our common manifest destiny being, of course, our common manifest destiny requires for us to implement, right? So the debt refusion theory integrates in it monetary integration theory. The monetary integration theory was successfully implemented in the European Union, right? In the 90s, successfully implemented. So the DRT integrated in the DRT is integrated the MIT. So we're going to take all the public and the private debt, all the public and the private debt, my 10,000, your 10,000, all the public and the private debt, all the public and the private debt, all the public. We're going to take all the public and the private debt, coast to coast and ocean to ocean, my $10,000 to the RBC. We're going to add it all up. And of course, we're going to add it all. We're going to convert it with the US dollars. We're going to convert it with the US dollars. So we're going to convert it into US dollars and we're going to add it into US dollars. We're going to add it with the public-private debt of the US. So all the Canadian public-private debt with the US added, but the Canadian debt, since this is in dollars, in Canadian dollars, is going to have, of course, is going to have to be, of course, added up. Is going to have, of course, to be added up. Look at that beautiful tree. So gorgeous. Wow, just a beauty, eh? Just a majestic beauty. Such a beautiful color. Wow. It's one of my favorites there at the corner. Just so colorful. Super colorful with that. And that's where we are now today. So that's where we coexist in the relationships, of course, of where we are now. The facultative aspects, of course, and all the plurality where we got now. So the DRT, debt refusion theory, is of course something where we take all the public and the private debt, and of course public-private debt is going to create we're going to create a new central bank and create the UE, U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot UE. The universal exchange unit will have the value of the US dollar, and of course the value of the US dollar is going to be the UE. We're going to set an interest rate level of 10%, fuse the Bank of Canada and the Federal Reserve and the FBI and RCMP into the Citizen Police Service, do a census and finance fitness, finance the rebuilding of the infrastructure, etc.